Hello, everybody. This is Moshe Rothschild, the Global Israel Alliance, bringing you the weekly news update from Israel, the summary of the news for week ending May 22nd, 2020. It's been a very busy week in Israel, so here we go. This week, Jordan threatened Israel with massive conflict over the sovereignty plan. We've discussed that the plan is that somewhere after July 1st, Israel will declare sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, according to the Trump deal of the century. So Jordan has threatened Israel with massive conflict over this idea. And the quote, to quote the Jordanian King Hussein II, what would happen if the Palestinian National Authority collapsed? There would be more chaos and extremism in the region, King Abdullah said. I think I called him Hussein before. If Israel really annexed Judea and Samaria in July, it would lead to a massive conflict with Jordan. So that was in the news this week. This week as well, the U.S. Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, called the International Criminal Court a political tool that makes a mockery of the law. What was he referring to? So Mike Pompeo released a statement commenting on the ICC, the International Criminal Court's intention to pursue Israel for alleged war crimes during the 2014 war with Hamas in Gaza. And the ICC is a political body, said Mike Pompeo. In other words, not a judicial body, but a judicial body, a political body that's masquerading as a judicial body. The United States and Israel is not a party to the Rome Statute that created the court, said Pompeo. This week, it was announced that a 3,000-year-old Israelite altar was discovered in Samaria, in the Shomron, and it will be protected. I'm sorry, it wasn't discovered this week, but they decided that it was important enough that they would protect it. It was discovered a number of years ago. This altar is incredible. It's 5 amot by 5 amot, which are the biblical dimensions of an altar. This altar was found down below, not on the peak of a mountain, which again was permissible according to Jewish tradition. 3,000 years ago, before the temple was built, they were bringing offerings, and we found an altar, and its dimensions and its design is exactly as described in the Bible, with horns on the 4 corners of the altar. So that dates back to the time of around King David, 3,000 years ago. So that will be protected by the Israeli government. This week also, Benjamin Netanyahu inaugurated the new government, and while speaking in the Knesset, mentioned the plans for sovereignty. And Netanyahu said, it is time to apply sovereignty to Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria. The time, said Netanyahu, has come to write another brilliant chapter in the history of Zionism. This week, Israeli jets striked at Iran-backed fighters in Syria. Now, of course, these are unknown warplanes that attacked Iran-backed fighters in eastern Syria, near the Iraqi border, killing several militiamen. The Syrian opposition activists reported this on Sunday. Israel, as is their policy in the region, neither confirms nor denies. But if you ask me, I will confirm it for you. As the coronavirus pandemic wreaks havoc around the world, there has been an incredible uptick in applications of Aliyah, meaning people who want to move to Israel. Nefesh B'Nefesh, the premier organization to promote Aliyah, has reported an almost 300% increase in the number of requests to immigrate to Israel compared with the same period last year. And they ascribe it to Israel's incredible success at fighting corona. This week, on Wednesday, they announced they gave permission for the synagogues to reopen in Israel. They're only allowed to have groups of 50 or less with social distancing. There are 18,000 synagogues in Israel that had been shuttered until this past Wednesday. 70% of Israel's corona cases, according to a Tel Aviv University researcher, began, that's right, in the United States. Thank you very much for that. This past week, we had an unprecedented heat wave in Israel that just broke this morning on Friday. It was temperatures soared past 104 degrees in parts of Israel. The highest recorded temperature was in the Jordan Valley in a place near Kibbutz Gilgal. They recorded temperatures upwards of 118 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's been in the high 90s for about 6-7 straight days. But now it's cooled off a little bit. Shabbat, tomorrow, it's supposed to be somewhere in the 70s. We're expecting a beautiful day. Gilad Erdan is going to assume the role as dual ambassador to the United States and to the UN. Now, in about a month, he's going to leave for the United States, and he will replace Danny Danon as Israel's ambassador to the UN. And in 6 months, he will replace my acquaintance, Ron Dermer, as the ambassador to the United States. So Gilad Erdan will be taking the place of two people. I don't know, maybe this is a money-saving gesture, but he will be filling two roles. An incredible development this week, the United Arab Emirates allowed the first commercial airline flight between the United Arab Emirates and Israel. Not saying that they never had flights, but everything until now has been very secretive under the radar, but this is an open flight. Everyone knows about it, and hopefully the cooperation will continue out in the open. This week, in an incredible story, literally thousands of Iranians have applied to emigrate to Israel, trying to escape the oppressive regime and the coronavirus in Iran. Can you imagine that? Thousands of Iranians wanting to come to Israel. Amazing. Now, that's the end of my report for this week. So I'll just add one quick thing for those who might be interested. I got an email this week from someone who wanted to learn Hebrew, and Hebrew reading, and I'd been giving a course. So since it was between courses, I am doing private lessons. If anyone's interested in private Hebrew reading lessons, I can teach you to read, guaranteed, in 5 lessons or even less. And I have a unique system, and it really works. If you want to learn to read Hebrew, it's extremely cheap to hire me because I want you to learn. So I have a very, very fair pricing schedule. If you want to learn privately, please reach out to me. Anyhow, I want to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom or a great weekend, whatever it is for you. And until next week, I am Moshe Rothschild, bringing you the news from Israel. Shabbat Shalom.